So we're here with Jim Reed.
Hey, Ben.
With RCA. I'm excited to interview you.
RCF.
Oh, I'm sorry. RCF. I messed up already, guys. RCF. It's so close. I didn't know you guys were based out of Italy.
That's right.
That's awesome. Okay. So my question, and I came all the way down here because I've heard of your speakers. I've never personally used them. And I've been hearing good things. As I'm going to say it right now, I am a QSC speaker owner, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. So what separates RCF from the competition right now, and what do you think that your product delivers and hits it out of the ballpark with?
I think ultimately is experience. RCF started as a driver manufacturer. We've been making drivers out of Italy, like you mentioned, for almost 75 years now. For the majority of that time, we were building drivers, the internal speakers, right? We were building those drivers for other major speaker companies. So for decades, if you look into a lot of other popular brands, heard of, and you took the drivers out of their cabinets and looked on the back, you would see the RCF stamp on it.
Oh, okay, awesome.
So we were building the speakers for other people for decades. It wasn't until about 25 years ago or more that we decided, why don't we take all this experience that we have building drivers, and because we have so many of them, and when we start building cabinets around them and making actual finished, complete speakers, enclosures, so we took all this knowledge of decades of knowledge and put it into our own cabinet, and we stopped providing drivers for everybody else.
Wow.
On top of that, everything is built under one roof in Italy. So unlike other manufacturers, what other manufacturers will do, they'll buy the speakers from somebody else, and then they'll build boxes around it. And they're
getting it from like third parties.
Third parties. They'll bring it in and they'll build an enclosure around it and they'll test it. If it doesn't sound quite right, they'll do typically one of two things. They'll start over again and get a different driver from that third party, right? Or they'll try to fix whatever sound issues there are using these days with DSP, and they'll add EQ on top of it to mask whatever
errors it has.
Right. With us, if we build a cabinet and it doesn't sound right, we just build a new speaker.
No way.
So we build our speaker, our final designs start with the drivers, making high quality drivers. And it has to pass rigorous tests. It has to handle high SPL for long periods of time. And if it doesn't meet that requirement, we go back to the drawing board and we perfect it. And if it doesn't meet it again, then we go back and perfect it again.
So what you're saying is these are like handcrafted speakers?
Yes.
No way.
Right.
Okay.
So instead of trying to fix errors around something that's imperfect, we first try to make a perfect driver.
Wow.
And then we build around that. And our speakers are tuned with priority towards the vocal range. So first and foremost, the vocal has to be pristine. It has to be perfect. If the vocals are not cutting through perfectly, we're doing something wrong from the beginning. Once we get the vocals to sound right, well, now we can start expanding on the rest of the frequency spectrum and adding more low end, more high end. We can change the shape of the enclosure, the waveguide, and even the DSP and things like that as well.
So your highest selling speaker, which is your highest selling speaker for like mobile DJs, would you say?
Hands down the most popular for decades now has been our ART series. Yes. ART. Yeah. So that's been around now for decades. There's been several generations now.
And what generation are you currently in right now?
The ART 9, which was just released this year.
Okay, and for mobile DJing, those are the ones that you recommend, the ARC 9 series, if you want to go professional sounding.
If you wanted to compare it
and mobile.
Yeah, if you wanted to compare at a price point versus our other competitors, you would be looking at our ART series first. That's going to be the most competitive as far as price. That doesn't mean it's the best speaker for the job. Right? We have many other levels that go even higher. But if you're looking at, say, I won't name any other ones, but if you're looking at somebody like, this is the price range I'm looking at, let's see what RCF has to offer. Most likely you're going to fall into the art category first, and then you can look above there depending on your needs.
Is there a drastic change in sound quality if you do jump up those levels?
Yes. Yeah. And the reason being is, like I said, we build our own drivers, right?
Okay.
A lot of other speaker companies, when they wanted to build something that sounded better or louder or bigger, they would make three-way speakers. Instead of just a low-frequency driver and a high-frequency driver, they would now add a mid driver, and now we have a three-way speaker. If you look at our catalog, for a long time, we don't have three-way speakers because we build our high-frequency drivers way bigger than our competitors. Most of our competitors have high-frequency drivers that are between 1, maybe 2 inches tops. We go all the way up to 4 inches, which means all the vocal range is now coming out of the high-frequency driver and not divided between the high-frequency driver and the low-frequency driver. You want the low-frequency driver to be focused on low-frequency instruments, the kick drum, the bass, the synth.
Yeah.
Why is my vocal coming out of the same speaker that the kick drum is coming out of? That doesn't make any sense. I want all of my vocal to come out of the high-frequency driver. And that way the speakers, the high-frequency driver and the low-frequency driver, are now working more efficiently.
And doing what they're meant to do.
Doing what they're meant to do. And that means because they're working more efficiently, they sound better and they're able to get louder.
Wow. And then last question, I know I've already taken a lot of your time, and I appreciate you sitting down with me.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of about working with RCF?
Oh man, I mean, the Italian culture is different than, say, the U.S. culture, right? It's very family oriented. The crew that I work with is just, they're all my best friends now.
Awesome.
And we all geek out over the same thing. And, beyond, going all geeked out about audio and speakers and whatnot,
for sure.
We have a great time traveling and doing these shows and, talking to each other even on the off hours of work. We're very hands-on, and it's just a pleasure to work with everybody.
That's awesome. All right, thanks again for your interview.
Thanks.
Really appreciate your time. All right, thank you.